Hello, students! Time for more math problems. In this homework assignment, I'll teach you how to check your work. And you'll do that by getting your solution for x and then substituting it back into your original problem. Okay, let me show you what I mean. First, solve this equation for x. We have one unknown, x. Let's solve it. Do you remember the steps? If you have parentheses in your equation, then use the distributive property first. But we don't have any parentheses. So I can go right on to the next step. Combine like terms. Okay, the like terms that I have are the 4x and the negative 6x, negative 7, and negative 2. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to add 6x to both sides of the equation. When I do that, the negative 6x plus 6x equals 0. So the left side of my equation is negative 7 equals, I forgot to write the x there. There we go. Negative 7 equals 10x minus 2. Next, I want to get the 2 on the other side to combine it with the negative 7. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Then I have negative 5 on the left side of my equation and 10x on the right side of my equation. The x still isn't isolated. Let's move on to the last step for solving an equation with an unknown. Isolate the variable. So this 10x is the problem. We need to isolate x and get that 10 away from it. Remember what I taught you in the previous video? If you want to solve for a number that's multiplied, solve for an unknown that's being multiplied by a number, then you need to divide by that number. So I'm going to divide by 10. I have to do the same thing on the other side of the equation. This 10 divided by 10 equals 1. So my equation is negative 5 over 10 equals x. In other words, x equals negative 5 over 10. Okay, well, I don't trust myself. I make mistakes all the time. Why don't we go ahead and check our math? Let's make sure that we have solved this correctly. Oh, before I do check this, I should simplify my fraction. Negative 5 over 10 is equal to negative 1/2. That'll be easier to work with. Now to check my math, I can substitute my solution back into the original equation. So take this x equals 1/2 and substitute it back into my original equation. Wherever I see an x, I substitute in the value that I solved. So my equation is negative 6 times negative 1/2, that's the x, minus 7 equals 4 times negative 1/2 minus 2. I substituted in the value I got for x right here. Remember, I solved for x and I got negative 1/2. So I've substituted that number right back into my equation wherever the x's were. Okay, let's do the math. And if I have solved for x correctly, then the left side of the equation is indeed equal to the right side of the equation. Negative 6 times negative 1/2. Wait a second, let me explain what I'm doing here. Yeah, negative 6 times negative 1/2. I have to look at it again, and then there we go. Negative 6 times negative 1/2 is positive 3. And then minus 7 stays the same. On the left side of my equation now, I have 3 minus 7. And then 4 times negative 1/2 equals negative 2. And this minus 2 over here stays the same. Okay, 3 minus 7 is negative 4. And yes, That is equal to the right side of the equation. -2 minus 2 is also -4. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, since the two sides are equal to each other, then I know I correctly solved for x. X is indeed -1/2, just like I got in this solution. Let's do another problem. Okay, this time we do have parentheses. So let's start with the distributive property. 1/2 times 7 is 7/2, and the x stays, so that's the 1/2 times 7x, minus 1/2 times 6 is 3. And that's equal to 6x minus 10. Okay, let's keep going. I want to combine like terms. So let me get this 6x and 7/2x combined. I think I'll go this way. What I mean by that is I'll subtract 7/2 x from the left side, and I'll subtract 7/2 x from the right side. Then this term equals 0. And I'm left with -3 equals, and then, how do I subtract this? Well, I know 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm going to do 6 minus 3.5. That's 2.5x. And this minus 10 just stays the same. Okay, next step, I want to get that -10 over to the other side away from the x. So I'll add 10 to both sides of my equation. Then I have -3 plus 10, that's 7, equals 2.5x. This -10 plus 10 equals 0. And finally, I have to divide by 2.5 to get the x isolated. So I'll divide both sides by 2.5. And then my final answer is x equals 7 divided by 2.5. You know what? Now I wish I had kept it as a fraction, because 7 divided by 2.5 is not that comfortable. Okay, what was that 2.5? 2.5 as a fraction is 2.5 over 1. I'm trying to think here. 7, no, 5 over 2, that's what it is. Suddenly I'm not good at fractions. 5 over 2 is equal to 2.5. There we go. So I'm going to rewrite this. 7 divided by 5 over 2 is equal to 7 times 2 over 5. If you don't believe me, you better go through your fractions again. 7 times 2 over 5 is 14/5. Okay, I got 14/5 for x. X equals 14/5. Now, it's very important that I check my work, and you better check your work too. So here's what we do. If I have solved this correctly, then I can insert x into my original equation, and both sides will be equal. Let me show you what I mean. The original equation is 1/2 7 times x, which is 14 over 5, minus 6 equals 6 times x, which is 14 over 5, if I solved this correctly, minus 10. Okay, so let me simplify this and see if both sides of the equation are equal. 7 times 14, I don't want to do that in my head. I need to do this multiplication right here. This is 7x, so I need to multiply this. 7 times 14. Okay, that's going to be 98/5 minus 6. And I'll keep that 1/2 there. And the other side, I'll go ahead and multiply this. 6 times 14 is 84. So that's 84 over 5 minus 10. Okay, now I need to use the distributive property for this 1/2. It distributes to both parts in the parentheses. Well, I'm pretty good at fractions. I know that 1/2 times 98/5 is equal to 98/10 because the denominators will multiply together. And 1/2 times -6 is -3. And that's still equal to 84/5 minus 10. Okay, now I need to do these, I don't know. Okay, let me see. Is this going to be equal? 98/10 minus 3. I need to put this 3 over 10 in order to do the math. So that's 98/10 minus 30 over 10. And that equals 58/10. Okay, the left side of my equation, oh, not 58, I'm sorry, 68/10. The left side of my equation is 68/10. What about the right side? I need a common denominator in order to subtract 10 from 84 over 5. I need a common denominator. So how about 84 over 10? If I multiply 5 by 2 to get a common denominator, wait a minute, what am I doing? I got a little confused. 84/5 minus 10, I need a common denominator over here. So if I want a denominator of 5, it'll be 50. There we go, I did it. Gosh, I thought I was good at fractions, but I got lost suddenly. 84/5 minus 50/5 equals 34/5. Okay, so is the left and right side of my equation equal? Is 68/10 equal to 34/5? Let me get these two with a common denominator. I'll use a denominator of 5. So I need to divide this fraction by 2. That'll be 34/5 equals 34/5. Phew, I did it. Okay, I checked my math. And my original solution for x is correct because when I insert it back into the equation and I check that both sides are equal, they are. So I know I solved it correctly. Checking took a lot of work though, didn't it? This is how you check your math when you solve your equations. Always take your solution for x and substitute it back into the original equation to make sure that both sides are really equal. If they are, you solved it correctly. If they aren't, you made a mistake. You have to do it again. Good job, guys. See you later.